Gunner Podcast. Get up, it's the Steve Gunner Podcast.
Good day to all and welcome to another episode of the Steve Gunter Podcast, where we discuss the steps, the strategies, and the mindset of real estate investing, tailor-made for the pro athlete. We appreciate your time. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. And for that, I am grateful. I am your host, Steve Gunter, and it's an honor and privilege to be with you. Happy Tuesday to you. I want to kick us off with a short clip from our CEO of Compass, Robert Reffkin, who was speaking with CNBC in December regarding interest rate cuts. And I want you to take a listen.
Much activity does a move in mortgage rates from 8 to 6.5% unleash?
Well, we see over cycles that buyers react more to the change in the mortgage rate than the actual mortgage rate itself. And it suggests that next year will be a very good year. A key question is, will the Fed lower rates in the March meeting before the spring market or in the May meeting afterwards?
And the Feds have essentially already begun, even with their messaging. The Federal Reserve has signaled rate cuts throughout 2024, but has also indicated that consumers shouldn't expect any cuts until at least the spring. And at this particular point in time, I've heard time periods from March to May to June, but at some particular point, we're going to continue to see those rates come down even further. Now, overall, this is good news for buyers and good news for sellers. Last year, many home buyers were shut out of the market, as we all understand, and homeowners who were looking to sell their homes for the first time in many, many years had to endure longer days on market. But heading into the spring, it appears that all will change. However, now with cheaper money and pent-up demand, that means that there will likely be more competition in the market. So it's highly likely that we'll see another boom time real soon. And perhaps your market or in your market, you're already beginning to see the start of that, which is why here at my office, we've been strongly encouraging our customers to get off the sidelines now. Even if rates are slightly higher than what they will be, it's far better to enter the market where you're able to acquire real estate at a cheaper price than if you were to actually get the cheaper rate, but consequently have to pay a higher price. So if you're looking for a deal, if you're the person who wants a deal, right now is your window of opportunity. Moving into local real estate news, the people of Durham, North Carolina are going to see a new massive development sprouting up in the coming years. Meritage Homes just closed on 188 acres for $23.5 million. That checks out to $126,000 per acre. Now, this is great news for Durham as it currently has the least amount of inventory in the triangle. But to be clear, approximately when homes will come out of the ground, it's hard to say, and Meritage Homes have given no indication on when that might be. But I'm sure Meritage Homes is still a year, maybe two away from getting homes out of the ground. However, here's the thing that I noticed that I want to point out. If the new development is ready around 2026, 2027, that will place their new home inventory in position to serve the new Apple East Coast headquarters that is scheduled to start construction in 2026. Apple's move to the Triangle has already made a major impact within our area's infrastructure. If you haven't noticed the large amount of projects that are currently going on along the highway system, Apple has made quite the investment here in the Triangle market. But once their headquarters is complete, you can be sure that it will continue to boost the local economy even more. Just think about all of the ancillary businesses that will sprout up as a result of their opening. Now, Meritage Homes isn't the only home builder taking a large land position in the Triangle. The Pulte Group also recently closed on 119 acres just south of Raleigh for $14.5 million. And the Desco Investment Company, a local developer in Chapel Hill, also acquired 102 acres in Knightdale for a little more than $5 million. Actually, that sounds pretty good, like a really good deal that they got. 102 acres for only $5 million. That sounds promising. So plenty of movement currently going on in the Triangle. Now, let's get into our topic of today. And that is why star athletes are making real estate their next play. And I want to share a few stories with you about athletes who had amazing careers in sports, but had phenomenal careers in business, more specifically in the real estate business. And I began with Roger Staubach. Now, depending on your age, you may or may not know the name, but for those of you who don't know Roger Staubach, he was a big-time NFL quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys in the 1960s and 70s. He earned the nickname Captain Comeback for his 23 come-from-behind victories in regular season and playoff games. He made 4 Super Bowl appearances and won 2. Need I say, in the words of Stephen A. Smith, Roger Staubach was a bad man. But here's what's even more fascinating about Mr. Staubach. In 1979, Roger's salary was about $160,000, approximately $700,000 in today's money. Not too bad. An obvious far cry from today's elite quarterback in a league like Patrick Mahomes or, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, but nothing to sneeze at. But while he made a nice living in the NFL, he made a fortune in real estate. Roger started the Staubach Company while he was, get this, by the way, still playing, and grew it to 50 offices across North America before selling it for $613 million in 2008. Let that sink in for a moment. $613 million. Doll hairs. That's huge. Another example, Basketball Hall of Famer Grant Hill. He was a 7-time NBA All-Star, a man with an extensive resume, having averaged 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists per game in his first 6 seasons in the NBA. Man, he could have really been special had he not gotten injured, or injuries, didn't have such a huge role in his career. But today you may frequently notice Mr. Grant on a sports broadcasting set for TNT. But outside of sport, he has built a sprawling $200 million real estate enterprise as a commercial real estate developer. Hill Ventures develops a diverse portfolio of real estate holdings to include mixed use, Class A multifamily residential, commercial, and affordable housing. Pretty big deal. But the last example I'll give you comes from the WNBA legend Lisa Leslie. She played for the Los Angeles Sparks, two-time world champion, three-time MVP, and four-time Olympic gold medalist, an undisputed winner in the sports world. But in business, Lisa has been just as impressive, becoming a co-owner in the luxury real estate brokerage firm Aston Rose, which has offices in Miami, Houston, and Richmond, Virginia. There are countless other examples of athletes who've had amazing sports careers, but even bigger business careers in real estate. And that is the path that's available to you today. You don't have to wait until you're closer to the end of your career. In fact, it's recommended that you begin positioning yourself now while there is still time. Set up a team of capable and professional people who care about your interests. Continue to learn, grow, and ultimately position yourself for life after sport. This is the track you want to put yourself on, the trajectory. Think about how you're able to take the resources you have today and use them to leverage yourself into a different world, a different position. CEO, founder, right? Investor. Become something even larger than the role that you play today. But more importantly, like we always talk about on this podcast, put yourself in a place of peace. If you establish a road, a path today, imagine what your life will be 2 years from now, 5 years from now, if you're lucky to play that long. But just imagine it. It'll be something special, very special. So without further ado, thank you so much for dropping in to listen to today's episode. And until next time, be good, my friends.